All right, well, we'll call this meeting to order, and I think first item of business is the roll call
Donahue,
here.
Pryor. Here. Owen. Dallas Elliott. Myers. Here. Nowacki.
Here.
And Gilly.
Here.
Rayburn. Here.
All right, that sounds good. Thank you for that. All right, the first real item on the agenda tonight is elections for the chair and the vice chair. These are 2-year terms each, I believe. And I think the process works. We can make some nominations. Is that correct?
That's correct, and I do believe that they are 1-year terms. I think we just got off a little bit, just so you know.
Got it. Okay, 1-year terms. Sounds good. Well, if the committee is comfortable with it, I'd like to make a couple nominations.
Please.
Yes.
All right, I'd like to nominate Pete for the chair and Catherine for the vice chair.
Second. I swear that.
All, do we need to have any discussion? Can we go straight to a vote?
There you go. Madam Chair, we may need to do each one separately, so maybe do the nomination for chair, get a second, let's get our vote done, and then do the nomination for vice chair after that.
Okay, that sounds great. Okay, well, I will amend my nomination. I nominate Pete Pengilly to be the chair of this committee. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, we've got a new chair. Congratulations, Pete. Thank you in advance for your service.
In advance, yes.
Might be the best way to do it.
All right, now we'll turn to the vice chair, and I will make that motion. I nominate Catherine Dallas Elliott to be our vice chair.
I'll second that.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right, hearing none, we've elected our vice chair as well. Congratulations, Catherine, and thank you in advance for your service. And with that, I will turn over the proceedings to Pete, our new chair.
Thank you, Madam Chair, Madam President, excuse me. Mr. President, I just want to thank Stacy for her work serving in this role. She also served as vice chair prior to being the chair, and had to actually do a few meetings for us at that time as well. And so I just want to thank you for the work that you put in. And I know you've been really super busy this past year, but been extremely supportive of this commission, and served your role as president very, very well. So I just wanted to thank you for all that, and and passing the gavel on to highly capable Pete Pengilly, who has been with us since day one as well. Actually, you all have, basically, for the most part, which is great. So anyway, congratulations, Pete. Thank you, Stacy.
Thanks, Stacy.
Thank you all. I'm excited for Pete to take over. He's gonna be great, obviously.
It's not that bad of a job, you guys. Okay, Pete.
Looks like the next order of business is to approve the minutes for the February 1st, 2023 meeting. Has everybody had a chance to review them? Yes. Are there any corrections? Make a motion that we approve the minutes as stated.
I second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Moving right along, the next order of business is committee updates. Superintendent Duplessis.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair.
President, I know.
Mr. President, you mean-
Anything you want. First order of business, one thing that we need to do is make sure we have everyone's contact information correct. So I'm gonna pass it around while we're here, just maybe double check that all that's right. And then Joey will email out to people who aren't here, just to double check that your information is correct. Just so we've got everything updated in the files correctly. Kind of a quiet meeting tonight, but I definitely wanted to update where we're at with a few different projects that you guys have looked at over the last year. We are working on a couple new things, hopefully coming soon. We just have had some delays, so I hope to have some new applications and new things for you to review soon. First thing that we'll talk about is the carbon sequestration project that you approved money for last January. Actually, it's been a while. And that project is finally up and going. So the staff has been put in place at Boise State, and they actually have set up their test plots for this season. They will be out in the field. They are working mainly in Chief Eagle Eye Reserve, Foothills East, Hyatt Hidden Lakes, Mesa, and the Oregon Trail Reserve. So that's where they're gonna focus a lot of their work. They are looking at carbon sequestration. There's a big difference, or they're trying to find the difference between in the sagebrush steppe area between annual grasses and sagebrush steppe bushes, or sagebrush bushes. So they're trying to kind of look at the difference between that. That's why they're focused in that area. But that's been super exciting just to start to see work happening on that. We're excited to get some of the data back and really start working with Dr. DeGraff and have Martha be able to have that data to move forward, and Public Works is involved in that as well. They have a new, what's Alex's title? She is the new, Climate Action Plan Coordinator. Sorry, I just had to get, Climate Action Plan Coordinator, and she's been actually really involved, which has been fun. She's from Parks and Rec and has moved it over into Public Works. So there's a really nice bridge of communication between the Climate Action Plan as well as this project. The other project to talk about is the function,
Who should replace her? Climate Action.
the person who left is,
I've no idea.
I can get you that information. I do know.
Oh.
Just there are two, and anyway, I
You
can't
see the
think of
person
it.
that came here with a couple of ideas or projects in one.
No,
That was it. It doesn't take so.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Steve Hubbard.
Okay.
No, he heads up that.
Yes.
Okay, that's
Yes.
it.
Steve.
Yes.
Thank you.
The second project that you all approved this last January is the puncture vine mapping, which Martha Rayback, our restoration specialist, is very excited about. She has worked closely with Dr. Trevor Coughlin, who has his own lab at Boise State, and they have a PhD student hired. They are starting next month to start mapping out the hot spots of the puncture vine that they believe are out there based on different things, whether it be bare ground, transects and transportation, using the pathways mapping, and also some housing data as well. Though they're working on kind of collecting all that, and we'll hopefully have the map itself finished the beginning of June. They are hoping to have the map done, and then we'll do a lot of the almost social science and behavioral aspects to it on the back end of that. So a lot of interviews, watching bike behavior, pedestrian behavior. So that will be a lot of that information that comes back to help us make more educated management decisions on where we are treating goat heads. The other project is the trail accessibility plan. The weather has not been super helpful for us this spring to get those new trails and loops accomplished, but work should start the middle of this month, I'm hoping. We have a contractor coming into town to work on that. We have the ADA accessible parking spots that will be paved hopefully within the next 2 weeks in both parking locations.
Is this in the whole scope?
So this is just for a quick refresher too. This will be up by Foothills Learning Center and Maple Grove Loop Trail, where it will be fully accessible, all weather, wide enough for wheelchairs, lots of different things with the ADA parking. And then on the back side of Camel's Back, where the sand chute is, that is always a really heavy congestion area, and it's very hard to get through that area if you have any mobility issues. And so that will be actually separated. So the sand chute will have its own barrier, and it will keep the kids that are playing in their own area, and then be able to have bike and pedestrian traffic with less sand to be able to get through to access a lot of the accessible trails back in that whole section. Yeah. Any questions about those three? I think those are the big three that we're working on right now. Anything you want to add? And then I was gonna throw a piece out there.
You know, just easily.
Okay. So the Peasley staircase connection that you remember that we looked at, we are having an open house up here at the depot next, it's the 10th, next Tuesday. I believe is what day that turns out to be. Monday. Thank you, Joe. This is the communication that went out to neighbors in the area. They received a postcard. We will be up here answering any questions that they have about it. You all are more than welcome to join if you'd like to. It's a public meeting. But this is the communication that went out, and then we have, these are the boards that will kind of go through and explain how the project is funded through the open space levy funds, and then also just some timelines and more details on the project. So we'll see how many people come. I think neighbors, from what the people that I've talked to, are very excited about the connection, being able to drop down into the park and have a safe way to go down. If that's anything you want to add on that?
No, Madam Chair, Mr. President, Commission members, just that, obviously this is a great project. Access from this location up here, which is just right, literally throw a rock over here to it, I think is pretty important to this part of the neighborhood. This does go to council in the form of a, what we call an IBC, or intergovernmental budget change. So, because it's not in our original budget, even though the levy funding is in the budget, to give it over to do the construction, we'll need to do what we call a budget change, or IBC. That's happening actually on Tuesday. So we've got the public meeting on Monday and then that on Tuesday, and we wanted to have the public meeting before we went to council with the IBC. It's just a, and I say it's a resolution, so it's not a public discussion. So that it won't be a public hearing of any kind when they do an IBC. It's just one of those resolutions that's motioned in all meetings sometimes, just like when we do our minutes and any consent agenda items we have here as well. So, but we wanted to have the meeting with the neighborhood because there were some discussions by the neighbors that they had some concerns. We feel like we can iron all those out and fix some of those concerns. The biggest concern, I think, from the neighborhood that we've heard is just having additional people having access through an area. It's something we deal with just about everything we do in our business. So, so we'll have that meeting on Monday, and then it'll go with the IBC on Tuesday, and then that's the official funding mechanism that then we'll be able to get some contracts in place with the winning bid and get things moving ahead.
What's that, where it connects to the crest line or whatever it is here? Crest line. What's that? Is there a crosswalk there? Or?
Yeah, so Mr. President and committee members, that whole intersection will have safety features that are added in, actually ADA ramps. It'll kind of get reworked, but make it a safer intersection for pedestrians.
Is this right where the sidewalk ends, where the intersection is?
Yep.
That's part of the construction place.
All of that is included in.
Which is
Right. So,
No.
yeah, so, Mr. President, committee members, ironically, there are ADA qualifications for the stairs, so the steepness can only be a certain incline, the distance in the steps, but yes, not completely ADA, but hopefully at the top, at least helping some transportation up there, or at least be able to walk better, where the sidewalk does just end right now. Mr. President, committee members, it may be the fastest open space
Yep.
meeting in history. But I wanted to make sure that we got elections taken care of and gave you a few quick updates, hoping in the next coming months, like I said, to have some more applications. But as far as committee updates, that's all that I have.
No executive session.
No, not today.
Any questions, comments?
Oh, I know. Fellow committee member, I want to recognize Matt Cryer as well for his service as vice chair.
Oh,
And you
Thanks.
intervened as chair
Thank
for
you.
the meetings too.
Thank you, Michelle, for staying.
Yep, thank you,
Yes, thanks.
Mr. President and Michelle, thank you for doing that. And yes, I failed to mention that because Matt actually served as president on a few occasions as well.
That's what I did.
So
We survived.
we survived, and he was like, I've done my duty.
Yeah.
I guess now I'm looking for a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
second.
All in favor? Aye. Favor?
Aye.
Thanks, everybody.